Well, here we are again talking about another Colts loss. So let's just get into it, guys. All right. What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Another week, another Indianapolis Colts loss. So here we are, Derek. Colts lose another one to this time to the Buffalo Bills by a score of 30-20. The Colts have ample opportunities, Derek, in this game to keep it competitive. Was very competitive, especially in that first half where the Colts started off very poorly. First play of the game on offense, they throw a pick six. They go down 10-0. The Colts come storming back, tie it up, and then they go into the half down by 7. And then from there, Derek, the Colts really didn't do anything of note when it came to their offense. The Colts finished, like I said, with 20 points in this game. So, just a very frustrating game from start to finish from this team. But Derek, just another week of this organization completely falling on their own sword, completely embarrassing themselves. I mean, we talked about it, Derek, last week against the Vikings. The Colts came out. They said, Joe Flacco gives us the best chance to win. Yet here we are, Derek, another week of the Colts losing, not because of their defense, but because of their offense. Once again, the Colts offense fails when it matters the most to do anything. Now, Derek, I guess if you point to a positive, which is kind of funny, the Colts actually scored more points than they allowed, which is, I guess, something. Still really bad, but they at least scored a touchdown in this game, which is something they did not do a week ago. So I don't know even where to start, Derek. I mean, it's just same crap, different day. This team, this franchise is seriously very flawed fundamentally right now. I mean, just seems like there's so much going on with this team. And, for a team that had playoff aspirations and a team that was, telling you that this is the year they're going to be competitive. I mean, Derek, the Colts fall to 4-6. Don't really have a lot of favorable games coming up for them. And it could get worse before it gets better, Derek. I mean, what are your takeaways from this game? Because I feel like there's so much when it comes to this game for the Indianapolis Colts. Before I do that, just want to remind you guys, this episode is presented by Prize Picks. Be sure to download the app today. Use the code JUICE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Derek, take it away.
Well, I mean, we heard 2 weeks ago now that the best choice for the Indianapolis Colts organization this year is to start Joe Flacco at quarterback. And now what has it now been? 5 starts for Joe Flacco since he has been a starter this year in 5 different games, is now 2-3, and you're 0-2 in your last 2 games. And when you inevitably benched Anthony Richardson, you are now 0-2 since you made that decision. And you can say whatever it is you want to say about the level of competition that the Indianapolis Colts have been facing and all these other things, when ultimately this was the first time, Cody, and this is another thing too, this is the first time all year that the Colts got beat by more than one possession. It's the first time all year. And the funny part is, the reason why that happened is because the Colts offense gave the Bills a free 7 points. I mean, that's the truth of the matter, is the first time all season, win or lose, that the Indianapolis Colts, an Indianapolis Colts game was decided by more than 8 points. It was decided because the offense gave the opposing team 7 free points to start the game. So, I mean, there is nothing else to look at here, Cody, when it comes to this offense. There is nothing to say about the remainder of this. We said we gave Joe Flacco the benefit of the doubt. We said last week might be an abomination. It's one of those situations where, like, that might be the worst game that we see from him all year. No. The next week we see an even worse one. And I mean, honestly, I don't even care that he scored 2 touchdowns. 1 touchdown, you were down by 10 with 20 seconds left to go. There was no chance. And when it came to overall his numbers, I just look at the 4 turnovers that you gave up because you're not a good quarterback. And that's what's most frustrating right now for the fan base right now, is saying that Anthony Richardson could be doing this. Like scoring, barely being able to squeak out 13 to 20 points a game. Like the Indianapolis Colts scored 23 points against the Houston Texans the week prior to AR getting benched. And yet in that time span, the next 2 games after, the Colts have scored a grand total of 26 points. And the defense is to thank for a lot of that, because the defense in this game specifically, Cody, put the Indianapolis Colts in multiple great positions to score, and the Colts could not do it. The Colts did not score a touchdown off of either of the turnovers that were forced by this Colts team today. The offense continues to be at just an abysmal train wreck. Like the yards keep happening, but the Colts don't score. They don't score in the red zone. They don't score on a short field. They don't do anything. They don't have big plays. Like they do get a few big plays, but those big plays never result in points, or at least not touchdowns. Like, I don't know what else needs to be done about this, Cody, but like to sit there and suggest that this team is better under Flacco right now, it's just not true. It's not true. And I'm sure that part of it has to be with Steichen, and part of it is with Joe Flacco. Part of it is the fact that you have 3 rookie offensive linemen on your team right now, and you got a star wide receiver that is injured and is incapable of playing right now. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. But this offense is a joke. And I can't believe that we're saying that, given what we thought was going to happen with this team to start the year. I never would have thought that the defense for the Colts would look like a top 10 defense, and the Colts offense would look like maybe the worst offense in the entire NFL.
And you didn't even mention, you said 4 turnovers. Joe Flacco probably should have thrown at least 1 or 2 more. He should have probably had 6 turnovers in this game. Like, it's crazy, man. I don't even understand it. And he just set the tone. That first pass, you're like, okay, we're screwed. Like, you just knew immediately, like he's not going to be better than this week. Like, and I mean, I said it last week. I'll say it again, Derek. Again, Joe Flacco, not a good game. I mean, the turnovers obviously speak for themselves. But Derek, this offense is broken right now. I mean, it's very clear, regardless of who the quarterback is, your offense is a broken offense right now. They're undisciplined. They pee down their own leg when they're in the red zone or when they're in situational plays. It's just a mess right now. And I like what you said about, if you have Anthony Richardson, it may not be much better, but at least you have a young guy in there. At least there's still like the element of, he could learn from this. What's Joe Flacco going to learn from this? Nothing. He's not going to learn anything. He's 40 years old. He's on the edge of retirement, Derek. I mean, that's the reality that you find yourself in for the Colts. And it's just a weird place, Derek, where it's like this franchise, it just feels so directionless. Like, at least we knew that, like, you may not be very good this year, but at least with a young quarterback, there is the chance that he could get better through the course of the season. But you just don't even have that part now. So it's kind of like, what is the point in playing him if your offense is not even marginally better? It's actually worse.
It's worse.
What's the point? I just don't understand. And I don't know if it's a pride thing or what the deal is, but it's very obvious, Derek, that this franchise has no clue what's going on. This coaching staff has no clue, on the offense especially, has no clue what they're doing. This GM has no clue what to do. Clearly, Jim Irsay, if he has some play in this, he's doing a disservice to this franchise. It's just a completely rudderless franchise right now with no clear direction to what they're doing. And they've come out and said in 2 straight weeks now, they've doubled down on it, saying Joe Flacco's their best option. And they've looked like, to be honest with you, complete clowns.
And
that's what this organization is.
Funny enough that you said that, Cody. As of this moment, as you were saying that, and I'm checking Twitter, Nate Atkins just tweeted this. Shane Steichen reiterates that Joe Flacco is his starting quarterback right now, and that he said he still believes Joe Flacco gives the Colts the best chance to win. So, again, it is a pride thing. It is, because nobody actually believes that at this point.
He has to be fired. There is no way you come out and seriously say that after 2 weeks of completely crapping the bed. I mean, Derek, it's a weird flex for Shane Steichen to go down with a 40-year-old quarterback, but if he wants to be stupid, that's his prerogative. If he wants to be an idiot, that's his prerogative. All I know is I don't want him back with the Colts if he's going to do this. That's what I'm saying. He's an idiot. I'm going to call it.
Might be
There's no other
suicide, dude. It might. It might.
It's the weirdest thing. It's an actual embarrassment, Shane. You are an actual embarrassment of a head coach right now by doing this.
That's
what it is.
So strange, just because, obviously it's not all on Joe Flacco to try to figure this thing out. I mean, the problem is right now is no doubt that Flacco completes more passes than Anthony Richardson does. And yes, he gets more yardage sometimes. But those drives a lot of times those drives don't turn into points. And whether you had Joe Flacco or Anthony Richardson in at quarterback, your offense has been a very undisciplined offense all year. And
here's the deal, Derek. Shane Steichen's reasoning. You want to know his reasoning?
Sure.
Veteran leadership. Wow, that veteran leadership's really led you to a 1-4 record, Shane. Congratulations. You have a veteran quarterback in there. The problem is your veteran quarterback can't complete a simple pass. So what are we doing?
Yeah, the problem is in this game, it showed you, and it showed you last game too, the completion percentage and yards don't matter if it doesn't involve points. You're not getting points. And that's the problem right now is we're so concerned about the completion percentage and the passing yards per game when we should be looking at who scores the most points, who has the most big plays, right? And that is clear it's Anthony Richardson. And Cody, we said this during the live stream. Joe Flacco got sacked 4 times today. Does Anthony Richardson get sacked 4 times in this game? I don't think so, because Anthony Richardson gives you that ability to, I would argue right now that Anthony Richardson has better pocket movement than Joe Flacco does and pocket awareness. I would argue that. And not to mention, if the pocket does collapse, Anthony Richardson at least gives you the opportunity to make a play on the run. Joe Flacco ain't going to do that. That's not possible. He's a statue. So that's another element of your offense that gets taken away. And Cody, for this game specifically, don't let this run stats fool you. Folks will look at this run stat and will say, oh, Jonathan Taylor had a really good game. Guys, outside of the 58-yard run that Jonathan Taylor had on the 4th offensive drive of the game for the Indianapolis Colts, he had 56 yards the remainder of the game. Cody, that is less than 3 yards per remainder of the carries that he had. So outside of the one big run, Jonathan Taylor didn't do anything all game. Did nothing all game when it came to overall how many rushing yards that he was able to secure.
So he had over 100 in the first half, and then he had 13 in the second half or something? It was wild.
It was I don't even think it was that. I think he had 8 rushing yards. And then they had, and it's funny too, because ESPN didn't even update Jonathan Taylor's receiving stats, because Jonathan Taylor on that last drive where the Indianapolis Colts were down 17 and tried to score one more touchdown to make it look better, Jonathan Taylor literally had 4 catches. I mean, Cody, outside of Adonai Mitchell, Josh Downs, and Alec Pierce, I mean, Jonathan Taylor only Josh Downs had more receptions in this game than Jonathan Taylor did. And Jonathan Taylor had almost as many receiving yards as Adonai Mitchell and Josh Downs did today, and had more catches than Adonai Mitchell or Alec Pierce. So, like, again, the concept of the offense makes no sense. Anthony Richardson, yes, passing wise, you didn't do great, but from a rushing standpoint, Anthony Richardson gives you so much better of a chance to run the football more effectively every Sunday than Joe Flacco does, because teams are loading the box and then they don't have to take into account the ability of Joe Flacco to run. They have to with Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson, regardless who's in the backfield. Anthony Richardson makes every running back in that backfield better because he respects the blitz that's coming off the weak side, or the linebacker that should be closing the A gap but can't because for a half second, he has to wait to see if Anthony Richardson held it, because he's the last line of defense if Richardson holds it, right? So that's the thing where, yeah, Jonathan Taylor had 114 yards today, but you take away that one big run he had, the Colts' run game was non-existent once again. So there's nothing to really talk about here, Cody. The run game still is atrocious. And the pass game, albeit you're completing more passes at a better rate and you might be getting some more yards, it's not translating to points. And that is not just a Joe Flacco thing. That is not just an Anthony Richardson thing. That is a Shane Steichen problem. It is a Shane Steichen problem that this team, when it gets in the red zone, is incapable of getting touchdowns when it matters. And that is on Steichen for not being able to dial up appropriate play calls to get somebody open. So this offense, like you said, it's broken. It doesn't matter if it's Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco, but stop lying to yourself thinking that Joe Flacco gives this team the best chance to win. They have been terrible over the last 2 weeks, and it doesn't matter who the opponent is. They have looked worse and worse. If you were supposed to tell us that the quarterback that you put in was going to make the offense better, it hasn't. And so stop lying to us.
Yeah. I just don't even know what else to say, man.
And I think what upsets me also, Cody, is looking at the defense. We didn't really get much of a chance to talk about the defense. So, again, minus the 7 on the 30 because Joe Flacco gave them the free 7 yards. Okay, guys? Or free 7 points. So, also, by the way, I got told that only bad quarterbacks, threw pick sixes. So, again, miss me with Anthony Richardson would have done worse. It just missed me with that. Anyways, so this defense has finally figured it out, Cody. Yes, they still have issues, and I mean, no doubt that this defense is still flawed, but this team only gave up 23 points to the Buffalo Bills. That gives you a chance to win the game. It definitely does. And again, had Joe Flacco not thrown the ball or not thrown a pick six on the first play of the game, this was a 23-20 ball game. And I mean, who knows if it even was? Maybe that changes another drive somewhere and maybe the Colts end up winning because of it, right? But like, the defense has given you ample opportunities to win the football games. Josh Allen didn't throw a single passing touchdown today, Cody. There were 2 touchdowns scored by the Buffalo Bills offense today, and they were both rushing touchdowns. Now,
That's
again, we
wild.
knew Buffalo, they're able to run the football now. Josh Allen, James Cook, that's a good running football team now. But Josh Allen completed only 59% of his passes for 280 yards, had 2 interceptions, and was sacked twice today, and had a worse QB rating than Joe Flacco did today. And the Colts, the both times that they intercepted intercepted Josh Allen, they put the Indianapolis Colts in Buffalo territory both times. Do you know what they got out of that? 3 points. So
Yep.
again, I feel so bad for Anthony Richardson because, like, again, this was not the defense that Anthony Richardson got at the beginning of the season, right? Like the first 5 games, Cody, this defense was atrocious. And over the last 4 games, they've looked great. They look great. They look like a defense that actually almost legitimately could almost win you a championship. I mean, albeit they're not great, but they're keeping you in the games. They're giving you opportunities. Like you said in the stream, they give any competent offense a chance to win every game. They do. They give you a chance every single game. Even this trash offense that the Colts have been all year, or at least the last 4 weeks that we have been, they have given that offense a chance to win every game. And yet somehow, some way, we're still losing these games. So I don't want to hear a lick about the defense. I don't want to hear nothing about that. So I'm frustrated at the fact that this defense has finally figured it out amidst all the crap that it's done and had to deal with and all the different players they've had to deal with. And yet our offense has just given them no hope.
Well, guys, with football season finally getting back into the swing of things, first off, we rejoice. But also, guys, when it comes to Prize Picks, this is going to be a great way for you guys, especially, to check out some of the stuff that Prize Picks has. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You heard me right. Only 4 correct picks. You can win 100 times your money, guys, on Prize Picks. Be sure to sign up today and get $50 off instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So if you're looking specifically for the Colts stuff, that's definitely something you guys should check out. But if you're looking for, like me, more NFL stuff, there's all sorts of stats and stuff that you can check out and make your picks. And there's definitely guys that are very consistent, like Jonathan Taylor against the Houston Texans, that you really feel like you can probably feel pretty good about overall, right? And there's some other ones where you're like, I don't know if I would take the over on that. I don't know if I would pick them to hit that margin, right? So, guys, be sure to go check out all that stuff on Prize Picks. It's only a couple examples. There's all the different odds that you could hope for when it comes to that for Prize Picks. So I encourage you guys to go check that out, but definitely excited for this season. And hopefully you guys will be following along with us and everything with Prize Picks and what they do. So be sure to download the app today. Use the code JUICE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code JUICE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Like I said, guys, it's a great way to continue to stay in with week to week life of the NFL, specifically with your favorite team, the Indianapolis Colts. So be sure to do that. Be sure to check out Prize Picks. And remember, Prize Picks, run your game. That's what's sad. And again, Derek, this defense has not been great this year. Let's not pretend like it has. Even when they played better, they still haven't been a great unit. I mean, they still have issues. But yeah, I mean, you're right. The defense gave you plenty of opportunities, ample opportunities. You had a golden turnover right there on Buffalo's side of the field that you literally turned the ball over on offense. And so, like, yeah, the defense clearly is not, still has some ways to go, still has some work to do. But the defense has been far from the issue. You said it on stream. I think it's kind of crazy. Who would have thought that, over halfway through the season, the coach we'd be talking about as the coach that needs fired is not Gus Bradley, which is just bizarre. I would never thought that we would say that, especially after how the start of the season went, certainly. But yeah, it's just crazy, man. I just can't believe we're here. I can't believe we're doubling down on a 40-year-old, obviously terrible quarterback at this stage in his career. I don't even know what we're doing anymore, man. It's just, it feels like we're just saying the same. It feels like 2022. It's like you're saying the same thing because the same issues are happening week after week. And to me, that's a sign of a dysfunctional team, a dysfunctional franchise, and just a lot of questions. I mean, millions of questions that you have to ask about this team.
And like when it came to like the interceptions that were thrown today, like that first pass, I mean, why were you trying to shred triple coverage? Like, isn't a veteran quarterback supposed to know better than that? Like, isn't a guy that's been in the league for 17 years supposed to know that that's not how that never goes well? Like, seriously? And then I don't even know where the other interception. I don't even remember the other interception. Oh yeah, the screen pass to JT. Oh yeah, the one where he threw it behind JT and threw it straight to the defensive lineman. Oh, and then the third interception where if I can remember correctly, in week 2, Anthony Richardson got crucified for overthrowing Alec Pierce on a deep route that ended up getting intercepted. I'm sorry. Apparently, I thought only bad quarterbacks made that kind of throw because Alec Pierce was wide the heck open, and yet Joe Flacco still somehow missed him and floated it upwards. I mean, again, we can say whatever we want. I know some keyboard warrior is going to tell me, oh, he got hit as he was throwing. Yeah, half the time when Anthony Richardson's throwing, he's getting destroyed, and yet still is getting blamed for some of the throws that he's had to make because of that. So quit having different energy for different people. This is just ridiculous. This team has become the laughing stock of the league, Cody. This team has become the laughing stock of the entire league. You say that your team needs to go in a different direction because your quarterback that you have in there is not the answer right now, and that Joe Flacco gives you the best chance to win. And you have yet to win since then. And not only have you not won, you have put up your 2 worst offensive performances of either game. This one was somewhat debatable, but I mean, it's very close to still being one of the worst. I mean, you could argue maybe Green Bay was maybe worse, but I mean, it was pretty dang close. But it doesn't change the fact that this offense has taken a step backwards since you've said that. And you have a head coach as well that's refusing to accept what's happening in front of our very eyes. We're witnessing it. We see it. And yet somehow Steichen is just is acknowledging that he doesn't believe it's happening. It's should we see
the doubling down? It just
I don't know.
Me. I guess it's the tripling down now. It's like, what else do you need to see? You've had literally 2 games of horrible play, like at quarterback. And like you said, just because we want Anthony Richardson to play does not mean that Anthony Richardson would be like this major upgrade. That is not what we're saying. What we're saying is, if it can't get much worse, what's the harm in playing the 22-year-old quarterback that's had 10 starts in his NFL career? I would rather suck with a young quarterback than suck with a 40-year-old quarterback that's clearly not your future. That's why I just am so baffled by this decision to just continually fall on the sword for a 40-year-old quarterback that's playing like absolute crap. I just don't understand it. It makes no logical sense. There's no sense to the future. It doesn't seem like this franchise has any awareness of what it takes to actually like legitimately have a contending team. And if you're going to be bad with a young quarterback. And if he's not the guy, then fine, so be it. Move on. Get another quarterback next year. But I would hate for this team to continue to roll out this 40-year-old quarterback that clearly is past his prime, can't throw a basic pass at this point. I'd rather them do that. I'd rather them roll out a young quarterback that, yes, has issues, and at least find out, at least have some sort of answer. but it just doesn't seem like that. And I just genuinely don't understand the point of this or the direction it's going. It seems like there's just no direction and no common sense, Derek. That's what's just so baffling.
And
There's no common sense with
it
this team.
sucks because now we're at the spot we're not even talking about the game anymore. We're just only talking about the coach and about the quarterback situation because
it's the same thing over and
goes
over.
On.
It's the same thing over and over. They preach accountability, but they won't bench Joe Flacco. They preach accountability, but they won't bench. I don't even know who you want to throw out there anymore. You know what I mean? Like they use that word, but they just don't know what it means.
Yeah,
and it's the same game every week. It's the same game every week. The defense does enough to win. The offense doesn't. That's just to put it as simple as possible. The thing that's most infuriating, Derek, is the offense showed you that they can actually move the ball. Like, they can actually do it, sort of. Like, they had one drive where they looked absolutely flawless. It's like, what the heck happened? Like, why can't you do that? Like, you do that once a game. How?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know where, like, I feel so bad for this defense. And it's just,
yeah.
I feel so bad because, again, they forced a couple of really good turnovers. You know, you put this offense in great position to succeed. And, you know, again, it's just the whole, like, I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to be able to just understand what is going on here. Like, again, if, like you said, if the offense is going to continue to be bad, just play the young quarterback. At least get him the experience. Because, I mean, I definitely know he would avoid sacks better. I know he improves the run game. I know that he would at least give you some more explosive plays. Like, again, that's undebatable. That's the fact of this. And so,
and Derek, also just want to say as well, like, I know we dog on Joe Flacco. He was not good today. But also, you got to throw in the fact that it's not just Joe Flacco. Shane Steichen definitely deserves a lot of the blame. Some of the players definitely deserve some of the blame too. You know, but also, like you said, you're rolling with 3 rookie offensive linemen. It's bound to happen. You know, Josh Downs drops a touchdown, pretty much a touchdown. You know, and the sack. You know, Matt. You know, we talk about Matt Gonsalves. Like, I don't know if I put that on Joe Flacco as much. So it's not just Joe Flacco, but Joe Flacco is going to be the talk of it. You know, that's just going to be the reality of it. And at this point, you know, if your quarterback has to kind of run for his life in certain ways because, you know, you're rolling with 3 rookie offensive linemen, why are you putting a statue back there?
It doesn't make exactly any sense. Right. You're right. If you have 3 offensive linemen that are struggling against a good front in Buffalo, why in the world would you consider putting a statue back there that can't avoid pressure? And why are you calling plays that require you to just throw the ball consistently down the field all the freaking time? Like, that's, again, on Steichen. I think we need to consider what's going on here with Steichen. I think his game plan is completely flawed, and it's just it's not good, man. It's not good.
Yeah.
This game's just another reminder.
On a positive note, I did feel like, obviously, the drop for Josh Downs not good, but I did feel like the receivers didn't play bad today. You know, the drop was bad, but like A.D. Mitchell had a really good game. I thought Alec Pierce had a good game when they actually threw him the ball. You know, I think that was A.D. Mitchell's best game as a pro, which is kind of crazy to think about. He had 7 catches for 72 yards. The only problem was he did have that fumble, Derek, which was definitely not good. Fortunate the Colts got that back, but I did feel like the receivers did their part today. They did enough in this game, and it's just unfortunate to see the fact that the receivers played well, but there was so much crap that happened with this team, you know?
Yeah, but, I mean, we'll talk more about, like, the future of this team going up, but my God, I mean, this is just another terrible performance by the Indianapolis Colts, specifically on the offense. You know, it sucks, man. If Joe Flacco doesn't throw that pick 6 and you know, throws a touchdown for us instead, then we're talking about a completely different outcome here. I mean, seriously, you're talking about a 14-point swing. So it sucks, man. Just sucks. I hate that we're here, and we're 4-6 now, and who knows? Who knows if the Indianapolis Colts win a game the rest of the year? Who knows?
Well, yeah, I would say you look at their schedule, it's not super favorable. I know there's a few games down the stretch they could win, but you got to face Detroit still. You got to face the Jets. I mean, in New York, which is definitely no cakewalk either. And you talk about we have some teams that are some of the worst in the NFL. I hate to break that to everybody, but I think the Colts are right there in that conversation of some of the worst teams in the NFL. And it's sad because there is talent on this team, but it just, for whatever reason, there's just things that aren't being tapped into. And there's a lot of fundamental issues with this team that, we've talked about. And I think the sign for me, Derek, of a bad team is if you're continuing to repeat the same mistakes and nothing's getting fixed. That's what's happening with this team. It's the same things every single week. So I don't know what to say, man. It's just a bummer. But I mean, to say I'm surprised is not really reality. I'm not really surprised, especially after what we saw. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the people who were like on the Joe Flacco train have now flip-flopped and flipped sides and said free AR. And I'm like, no, stay on your side.
Yeah, stay on that side, dude.
Stay on that side. We were obviously not happy from the beginning. So I don't know, man. I'm just hoping that it just continues to get – it sounds bad because I never want this team to lose. I mean, we never do. We'll never root for this team to lose. But if that's what it takes for this regime to get canned, I'm for it, man. I'm over this regime. I'm over the constant mediocrity. There's so much more to talk about. We have a whole offseason
and the
to talk
lies
about this,
too that comes with all this stuff. So
just the yeah. Let's say the team has a direction, and then you completely go back on your word. It's just a complete train wreck right now.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this one, guys, though. But
I'll say this though, it's one of those it's like a car, like a wreck. It's like it can't, I don't want to watch it, but I can't look away. That's kind of how it feels right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like you feel bad for it, but yeah, you're kind of just like I can't look away. It's just
I just gotta
yeah, it's a rough time out here to be a Colts fan, man. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let us know your thoughts on this game and the Colts in total. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much. And as always, go Colts.